Hey, and welcome back to the Wicked Wild Podcast, a feral podcast for the uncivilized horror fans. If you don't wash your hands after using a public restroom, you may have found your podcast. That's all we're saying.
And Lyme disease.
And it is Thanksgiving week, the week to get together with your family and friends and celebrate in whatever way you want to and eat some good food and hopefully some pumpkin pie, some pecan pie. It's not pecan pie, it's pecan pie. That's all I'm going to say about that. And we do want to, at this week, just take a moment to give a huge thank you to all our listeners and supporters as we get ready to wind up for our third year doing this, which is just crazy. We've been doing this for 3 years. So we do generally want to say a big thank you to everybody for supporting us and promoting the podcast and interacting with us on social media. So thanks. We hope you have a great week. So before we get into our movie review this week, I do want to introduce our hosts, call them out by name, have a couple of questions locked and loaded for them. We're going to start with Jaime up in New York. How's it going, Jaime?
Going all right.
So my question for you this week, Jaime, as I'm watching this movie is because I think I know, but I did have a curiosity. So would you personally prefer to be a beauty or a beast in this specific game?
I thought I had my answer, but then thinking of the technicalities behind it, I like this movie is not nearly as complicated as I'm making this answer, but I'm going to say
I can help you, Jaime. What if I'm your beast?
You might protect me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know my defense mechanism.
I do know your defense mechanism.
Who's going to want to get near that?
It's not great.
It's tried and tested.
Oh, fuck. Beauty.
You want to go beauty? Okay. You want to be a survivor. You want to be the one who survives. That's
what my final girl necklace says. But yeah.
Perfect. Well, and then we have Eli. You heard there momentarily in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. How's it going, Eli?
Oh, me living the dream.
Somebody has to, I guess.
Yeah.
One man's dream is another man's nightmare.
Listen, all I know is if I make it to the end of the year without living in a cardboard box in an alley screaming about the end times, it'll be a Christmas miracle for us all.
So my question for you this week, Eli, is that as we all know, after watching this movie, this is an Australian film where Christmas is a traditional summer holiday, which is hard for us up here in North America to get our minds around, but it's a summer holiday there. So how would your Christmas be better and more fun if you had some summertime traditions you could attach to it?
First off, none. I am. I'll let me put this to you this way, right? I would use my own defense mechanism, and just a reminder for you that's home. That is what I call the Eli spray and pray method, where I eat Taco Bell and spray diarrhea in your general direction. I would spray it all over Christmas. That's how I do summer Christmas.
Spray it all over Christmas.
Diarrhea all over the place.
Oh my God.
So it wouldn't be any different than winter Christmas.
Nope. The only difference would be brown on green versus brown on white.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Hey, and can I just say, if I may just point out, it's not I don't know if I appreciate for the last what's felt like 11 months, you bringing up Christmas. There are other holidays to be had, man. You got to recognize each holiday at a time.
And I back me up, John. I believe I've done that. I literally opened the freaking podcast by calling out Thanksgiving, did I not?
But you do it. Did. You do it like a CVS.
You seem so triggered, Eli.
You do it like a CVS. Well, that's because I have made a deal, and now I live in constant fear. A little bit. Every day I check YouTube. Every day for a video.
Wow. Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean,
what's that video?
By the time this comes out, the video is
the
there.
video. Yeah, I know a video making a corn cob.
I don't know. I will see. That's all I'm going to say. I hear a lot of talk. I haven't seen a lot of footage.
You know what would be the best is if you invested in one or two really great Christmas sweaters and there was no video, but you still have the sweater.
I'm not. I own one sweater, which
we'll see which direction today.
People say is not really Christmas and that I shouldn't wear it, but I do anyways.
Die Hard or something?
No, it's that scene from Django with Leonardo DiCaprio where he's doing this with a cigarette, but someone just superimposed a Santa hat on it.
And it's on a sweater?
Yeah, it's on a sweater.
Okay.
Well, it's on a long sleeve sweatshirt, and they just like printed random Christmas ornaments on it.
Yeah, that's not a Christmas sweater.
No.
Sorry, dude.
I'm sorry.
You don't even get partial credit.
When did you become the king of Christmas sweaters?
When I changed into one mid-podcast.
Yeah.
You did do that. He
did.
And then we've got John up in Detroit, Michigan. How's it going, John?
It is going as good as we possibly can up here in the cold north.
I got so excited because obviously, and we're going to talk about it, but I hadn't seen this movie before we watched it for the show. What are your thoughts on that opening scene, my guy?
Is it Detroit? Where is the opening scene?
No, it's the Australian compound movie. Fracture where she splits her leg open.
Yeah,
that's the opening scene.
Yeah,
I can't remember already. Jesus Christ, guys! I have a lot going on.
I don't blame you for not remembering. It didn't make sense to anything. So
I'll be honest. It was.
Oh yeah, it's that first girl.
Yeah. The compound. I don't really remember it that detail because this movie's largely forgettable. However, any compound fracture always makes me cringe almost as much as like getting nubs of a cut off hand shoved in your mouth. Cringe.
Well, it sounds like this one got a free pass from you.
It was again, this movie was not very memorable and I was confused by some of the acting. So I would think it was more focused on my dog, if I'm being honest, throughout this one.
Fair enough.
But thanks for thinking of me, Dave. Because the compound fractures.
For the rest of my days, when I see a compound fracture, that's a John McGonagall moment.
Oh, yeah.
Wherever you are, I'll be thinking of you. That's our little romance.
It's a good thing I ate after that.
So as we've talked a little bit, this week's movie review is on 2019's The Furies and out of Australia. So we're going to be talking about that. We're really excited about that. But before we do that, I do want to hand off to my boy Eli so he can give us this week's paranormal news update in a little section we call The Wicked Whispers.
I would say it's ironic we're doing this Thanksgiving because I'd say be thankful for the time you have left, people, because the end is fucking nigh. Alien news this week is just hot and heavy like a volcano coming to kill us all in that movie Dante's Peak. Got a couple little updates for you here. Number one, a lot of folks have with everything that's been going on with the UFOs, Mexico had its second UFO press meeting, which we got a little updates there. Some updates out of the Pentagon about their UFO stuff, which people are thinking is kind of weird. But a lot of people are calling back to a certain documentary in 1997 called Area 51, an alien interview. Have you guys ever seen that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's this documentary that like they interviewed like people who like Bob Lazar was interviewed in it. Art Bell, famous Bobby Art Bell. And like various other individuals who stated they knew of UFOs or actual alien potentially that the military may have interviewed. They went over some stolen documents, they said, and it also includes footage which they claim to be from a real alien interview, which could be questioned. But one of the things, though, is one of the information from the alien interviews that they talk about is how one of the aliens said that they were coming around because they were expecting that the world as we know it end by 2028 due to a large war and a lot of strife and all these issues in the US, in the world. And a lot of people are pointing out like, hey, that's only a couple years from now. Shit's getting bad down here. So a lot of people are like, hey, maybe the aliens were onto something. So that happened. Then Mexico had their second UAP where they announced they're like, hey, the U.S. government and various independent companies all finished looking at those or those alien mummies we found, and all these places are saying they're real. All these places are saying this fucking alien mummy is real, and it wasn't even on the news. All these studies,
the ET one.
Yeah, the one that looks like a dried ET that a dog left in Step Brothers 2.
Yeah.
All these companies and governments were like, we tested it. The carbon dating came back. It's at least 1,000 years old. They weren't fabricated. They found high levels of metal, certain types of metals that you only find in fucking asteroids and comets in this sumbitch. They also found what they're calling eggs. They did not really go in detail what those are, but said that they were sent off to various labs for further studies. So that just seems like the end of the world as we know it. Because, that's not bad at all.
Maybe they ate some of those sea pearls.
That's gross. And then...
Could happen.
You mean like from the womb?
Mm-hmm.
Or
sure.
dewombing? So that happened. They're like, they're real. And then also the independent, like some of the different entities that are doing independent studies said, just like the U.S. government, the Mexican government has also actively tried to stop this information from being released, and that they actually knew about these mummies for a really long time. So cool. And then also, currently, as you know, we've talked about before, that the House has been fighting with the U.S. and the House Representatives have been fighting the Pentagon to try to get more information about this alien stuff. And the Pentagon's basically told them, you can go suck a dick, and not told them nothing. The head of the UFO liaison with the Pentagon just randomly announced that he's retiring because, and I quote, done all I've set out to do. And next month he'll be out. So that's super cool. So those are all. Oh, also, Tom DeLonge, somebody has released his manifesto of all the things they think he's releasing about aliens. And I just want to say one thing.
Oh, just one?
I'm going to say one
you
thing
just
about
want one thing.
One thing about Tom DeLonge before I go into my last wicked whisper here. Just one thing about Tom DeLonge. Fuck that guy. That's what I want to say about Tom DeLonge. This guy is fucking like. He is so fucking cryptic and does dumb fucking just fucking tell us, man. Just tell us. He's like released all these cryptic images and be like, I don't know, something. I know something else. And then people are like, wait, what are you talking about? He's like, you'll have to wait till after our next Blink 182 album, which no one's fucking buying because who gives a shit? Now we're all sitting here waiting, like, what does this fucking guy know? Because this, if we're being honest, average singer in a band is somehow high up in the government dealing with UFOs. Because he leaked that a report will be coming out about what they're calling USOs or unidentified submersible objects. And then he's just like, sorry, I gotta go play this show on my guitar.
My guitar? Cool.
So that was awesome.
I think that was more than one thing.
Well, it doesn't matter. I just want to say, fuck him. Also, fuck him because he's never reached out to me and asked me to be a part of it as well.
Okay.
So that's why you hate
my last story.
Personally slighted.
I don't know if you all remember a couple weeks ago, I talked about how
a couple of weeks ago,
whatever time is irrelevant to me now. Whatever
has Peru fallen to the jetpacks?
You know what? There's oddly been no updates.
All out of order on that. So.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure, but there's oddly been no updates about Peru, which scares me because that just tells me that village is gone.
Yeah, it's gone now. We've lost it. It is now occupied by the aliens.
If you don't remember, a couple episodes back, I talked about how these people are studying the permafrost melting because of the climate change, and like they're finding all this stuff. And I talked about how they found this large virus that was dormant, and they woke up, and it just started multiplying and started doing its thing, which people thought was odd. If it already isn't bad enough in this world for us to fuck around and find out between the aliens, the shitty Bigfoot that are like fucking with people, that poor village in Peru that is being attacked nightly by miners and jetpacks. the
jellyfish invasion,
the potential megalodon they think they found that people are also once again just like not talking about.
What about the George Washington Bunny Man?
Fuck that guy, and like all this stuff that like the potential of the world. So how about a scientist in Russia who had samples of this large virus? You know what he thought would be a good idea? Started injecting it in fucking animals, mice and rats and stuff to see what the effects were. And apparently it's growing at an exponential rate. So don't know what that means, but I'm just assuming not good. So yeah, it's all over, people. I hope right now you're eating your turkey, eating a little pumpkin pie, and just get fat and happy because the fucking end's coming.
It's becoming, I don't know if Jamie, John, if you're having the same experience, but it's really becoming like meeting your friends at your local bar and knowing that the homeless man out front is going to shout at you for 10 minutes before you can get into the bar.
Yeah.
It's the new experience.
I just want to say though, you say that, but like in this equation, it's not just people I went to school with, it's Frankenstein who left his monster and be like, I don't want anything to do with this because I told him to go out and do this funny little bit every week about like paranormal news. And then you're like, holy fuck, he's a monster. You're like, I'm going to separate myself. And he just keeps fighting me in the bar, screaming the shit he found. That is a more accurate representation of this narrative. I'm the monster. You're Frankenstein. You knew my brain and how I get into this stuff, and you unleashed me with no restraints.
Like driving a mile to go an inch. Am I right?
That's right.
It's all my fault.
Thank you for admitting that publicly.
So, as we always do, when we get into the actual movie review this week, we're going to open up with the on-the-fly synopsis for this movie. And if you remember from our Slither review, it was John who had to give the synopsis. So he'll be the one I'll be interviewing this evening. So, John.
Ooh, wonderful.
Picture this.
All right, picturing it.
In a world. No, just kidding.
Yes. Oh, dude, this movie needs a trailer like that.
It does. So you wake up in a box and discover you are all alone in the middle of the woods. Don't know how you got there. Don't know what's happened. 1 minute you're hanging out with your buddies. The next minute you wake up in a box, push the top off, and
I'm blaming Eli first thing.
If I was you, I would. I definitely would.
So what do you do? I'm going to give you three options, obviously. So option number one, once you're out of the box, realize you're in the middle of the woods all alone, seemingly all alone. So do you look for tracks and try to follow them out the way you came in? Or two, do you inspect the box for any clues or improvised tools, weapons you can harvest from it? Or three, do you climb a tree to see if you can get a lay of the land around you?
Oh, those are all great survival techniques. I mean, this is.
I dare Eli to feel offended.
I was legit about to say I'm not mad about any of that.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as Eli's not mad, let me give you my answer.
That's all that matters.
I mean, I would probably do two out of those three things.
Okay.
But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be looking for something to bash somebody's face in because somebody put me there and they're going to get it. So
that's just the best way I could think to get you to my compound. Don't really appreciate you trying to hit me in the face.
So you're going to harvest that box for whatever it's worth.
You better believe it. And I better find a bunch of nails to put through a board too while I'm at it.
All right. Eli, tell us about the Furies.
I am actually extremely happy.
Well, God bless America.
Oh,
it's a Thanksgiving miracle.
Oh man, I have a feeling we're this is the build-up episode for Dave to rip that football out from.
Listen, I am
Lucy
not
and Charlie Brown.
I listen. If he wants to play his monster, we all know how Frankenstein ended. That's all I'm going to say. Hey, the Furies or whatever the shit this is. Basically, you have two friends, with one being the worst friend on the planet and the other being a friend who doesn't know how to pick good friends, for some reason having an argument in a parking garage when they both get kidnapped, when the one friend who has epilepsy wakes up in a box, finds that she's stuck in a mining forest and there are killers. When she runs into some other ladies who are being hunted as well. They realize they're part of a game where there is a killer beast paired with a beauty, a girl, and the object is for the beast to kill the other girls and to protect his beauty. And so they have to play this game, and she is trying to find her friend. I use the terms loosely for the worst person in the world. And shenanigans ensue.
Fair enough. That's a pretty fantastic synopsis for this movie.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you for being so nice. Oh, you son of a bitch. Just know you are making this monster. Everything you do to me, every warp, interaction, and mutation will be at your own hands when inevitably we have our confrontation in the rain on that cliffside.
I can't wait to find the.
And for some reason, I'm not wearing any shirt.
All right. So we're going to open up with Jaime, because Jaime is actually the one, and this is not a blame, this is just a fact. She's the one who put this on our list and recommended. I'd never seen it before. I'd never even heard of it. So Jaime, tell us about your experience with the Furies and what you thought of it this last round.
Yeah. So I put it on the list because the first time I watched it, backstory, I watched it, this is like pre-COVID, so still in the office when I needed like sound, because you're in the office, like people love to talk about being in the office, but it's loud there, there's things going on. So I always had like Shudder or Netflix or something, like nobody minded. I always had, I'm not a music person, I'm more a TV movie person. So like I always had on my third little screen or whatever, like a movie or something playing. So this was recommended to me, I think actually by my sister, because it was like new to Shudder or whatever. And she was like, did you check it out? So I put it on. Again, I was working while watching it. So no clue like what the plot, could not remember the plot of this movie. The only thing I remember of this movie was like the kills, kind of like not even them, but just that there were outrageous kills or whatever. And remember finishing it being like, oh, that was, I see why she recommended it to me. Like it's got, it's
practical effects. Yeah.
So I wanted to rewatch it. And I'm very bad at doing this, but it seemed like a good movie for us because like it's survival. It's in the woods for Eli. I'm using air quotes because I don't know where the fuck they are. It's Hunger Games woods. But like, so I put it on our list so we would get to it at some point. So I watched it again, and now without working and with my notebook and whatever. I'm not going to go on rant. I don't hate this movie. I think it's fine. I think I see now why the only thing I remembered were the kills. I still think they're funny and gory and silly. I just think it's a very loose plot. If it is one, it's just not very strong. To get from
each kill, yeah.
Neither is the acting is very strong. Yes, Eli, that girl's the worst friend on the planet. And the other one is oddly upset. I love my friends to death, but I don't know. She's oddly obsessed with finding someone who never seemed to give any ounce of care about her at all.
Was saying she's a bad person because she has epilepsy.
Yeah,
and you have to do things carefully for your health.
But
it sounds like Eli took this kind of personally.
I did not enjoy this movie.
Listen, okay, you know what though? I don't even think I could say. I don't even think about this movie. I personally could say I didn't enjoy it. It's just we've had this conversation. It's a thing. It existed. I now have seen it focused for a second time, and I could say I will not watch it a third, but I'm glad I saw it the second time because I wanted to know what was going on the first time that I watched it. Again, I watched it very distracted, like had no idea what was going on, just would look up and see, oh, cool, like a hatchet to the... When he rips the girl's face off, it's fucking hilarious. Yeah. Like, it's so funny. Or when the first guy's head explodes, like I audibly gasped because I forgot about that they're connected, like, which we'll get into, like, but, so I don't know. This could be one of those movies. The acting's bad, whatever. But this could be maybe a drink and watch. Like we've gotten to that point where we describe some of them as that. Yeah. This could very well possibly be, maybe. Or a background watch where like you just look up like I did the first time every time something gory or silly happens, but you have no idea what the plot of the movie actually. I mean, I knew what the loose plot. You could tell it's not a strong, like that's not a complicated plot. Although maybe it is for, but so it's fine. Thank you guys for watching it again with me. I now know what this movie's about. And I can...
We've all checked the box together.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So Eli, have you seen this before? and what was your experience with the Furies?
I'll be honest. When this came out, I read the. I remember reading it. I almost put it on, and I was like, I didn't. And then I was talking to a friend who was like, telling me the concept. I'm like, the concept sounds cool, but of this game, but like I was like, nah, why watch that when I can watch a Gordon Ramsay show for the 1,000th time? Because it just wasn't enough to grab me, and I love Gordon Ramsay. I will not apologize
explain
for
that
it.
because I had no idea what that reference
listen,
was.
I would let that man yell at me for days.
Okay. All right, it's fine.
Jamie,
Wow.
Teach their own.
For days.
Okay.
Anyway, for everybody out there who's got your fan fiction pencil out, I think you just got there's a new player in the field.
I just
learned something.
Listen, I just want to say this: in the Mole King compound that inevitably will be made, there will always be an opening for Gordon Ramsay, and you don't even have to cook for us.
I don't even know what to do with that information.
I love Gordon Ramsay so much
that
Mary bought me Gordon Ramsay magnets that are currently on our fridge.
Okay.
So that's a little fun little Eli trivia for you people out there. Anyways, so I rented this. I paid $3.99. I also wrote a strongly worded letter to the production company asking for my $3.99 back plus damages.
No, you didn't.
No, I did. I want to.
I was like,
I'll be honest.
You paid to rent this?
I did.
Shudder.
It's on Shudder.
I was too lazy to walk upstairs.
No.
Wow.
Okay, money bags over here. We just throw money away.
In all fairness, in all fairness, I had some Amazon credits for a product that I couldn't return that I got the credits back for, and I only had a couple bucks left. I'm like, I'm not going to buy anything for a couple bucks. And then I was, if I'm being honest, I was working on a new Magic deck. And I was like, I don't feel like carrying these upstairs. I was like, I will just use my last couple credits and support this movie that my friend picked.
Okay. Sure.
I'm sorry.
I want everyone at home who's just listening, they're not seeing the video. Eli promptly put his monocle and his top hat on.
Yeah, he did.
He's flailing his money
lit a cigar.
around the
I did.
Lit a Cuban cigar.
Listen, the Mole King shares no expenses. Anyways, so I watched this. Listen, I'll be honest. I still, even now, even though this movie just shat the bed hardcore to me, the concept of their game is actually a pretty cool concept.
Yeah.
That's a cool concept. The thing is though, this movie's like, I don't give a fuck about any of the characters. It sets you up that your two main characters are these friends. One who doesn't want to hang out with the epilepsy girl because she's too safe and worried about her epilepsy, which okay.
She's too old to have that much teen angst. Can we all agree to that?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Well, these are supposed to be high schoolers. I didn't realize they were high schoolers until I read the description. Yes.
They're high schoolers?
They're supposed to be high schoolers.
I didn't know that.
Did they start school when they were 11?
Yeah.
They all look like they were in their late 20s.
Well, I got
30s.
college, and I thought college.
I don't know. A college for people who went to school super, super late. So whatever. So you have these friends. The one who was like you need to be bad and break rules and loser like me because you're lame with your epilepsy. And then the whole point of this movie is so you get captured. They have this she spends all this time trying to find her friend, finds her friend. Her friend's like, I can't help you. You just get fucked. What do you want me to do? You've killed people? Epilepsy girl. It's so the relationship is stupid and it just makes the motivations for everything stupid. The game is kind of ruined for me when they're like, oh, they implant this thing around your eye that looks like somebody pulled a wad of Christmas lights out of a box and just slapped them on an eye. And the thing that kills me about it is they wrapped this thing presumably had to take your eye out to do it. No black eye, no side effects. They're all just rocking this
that's
giant.
What you're really though. That's
but in my
bleeding, hers was bleeding.
You mean that little bit of Kool-Aid that was running down her face for
when
2 seconds? But it's just to me they try to do. You know what this movie felt like to me? someone really liked Rob Zombie movies.
What?
No,
Like,
nothing
because-
about this felt okay.
No,
Continue.
listen, the setting looks like the bleakness and the oversaturated white kind of look like the beginning of Devil's Rejects when they were in the wasteland. Literally, all the killers looked like they lived in the basement of the Firefly house.
House of Thousand Corpses. I mean,
it tried to be brutal on a shoestring budget. Like that's what it kind of felt. But like the characters weren't great. The story was like whatever. I would have liked to see them do like because I was thinking when I was watching this, I would prefer like the killers to be different instead of just like a bunch of grunting individuals and like they all made pig noises for some reason, which I don't understand.
They
They had their throats ripped off.
oh, they did.
I'm sure they had that one guy. He had that mask surgically attached to his face, and he was they deformed him.
I thought that was just a mask. You see that? See, but everything was oversaturated white, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, and then like the ending, they copy an ending you see 1,000 times, but only it had the worst eye effect. It looked like someone smeared Play-Doh
What?
across her face. Yes, and then like. I thought the ending was dumb. Because then once again,
The end, you mean, right?
The
Like
end,
tacked
end.
on, like,
the tacked on end
piece,
was maybe the
like,
dumbest thing in the world.
either should have kept going or I don't.
No,
Maybe
I
they might have.
shouldn't have.
They might have been creating a sequel though. Like,
I was going to say,
Which they
you
did.
didn't see the Furies 2 yet.
yeah,
Is there a Furies 2? Because if there is, then
No,
we all
but-
need to write a strongly worded letter. I have my monocle out, but like I don't know. This just
I
didn't work
added
for
it
me.
to the list, Eli. We're going to find out.
They had a cool concept that they shit on. The characters were stupid. The fact that even like she realized how shitty her friend was. Then there's like this subplot with this other girl that becomes a
Rose?
bad girl.
Oh,
Yeah,
we can
like,
talk about Rose.
that's
We're gonna talk about
like
Rose.
that's
We're
a thing
talking
where
about
I'm like, this seems
I got some Mad Tropic Thunder vibes from Rose.
a little bit, yeah. And like all like the girlsness, like just like it's weird because like it's one of those things where like it was you know what I not as bad, but I kind of had Antlers thought where I'm like, oh, there's something really cool here,
Oh,
and
but
then they
it's-
wrap
man.
dog shit all around it.
Yeah, but that's like Leela. Isn't that like in general any movie for anybody that you don't like, or not that you don't like? I'm sorry, but like there's a lot of them that could be cool and then just fall apart. I mean, that's a standard.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
if
just
you
Yeah,
have a
that was your
Antlers or
position
this.
on Mandy
But
too,
if-
if I remember it.
If there's some wetness in this shit, sometimes it's unforgivable.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
Yeah,
I don't either.
I it's almost this. It's like sometimes it's crazy how philosophical I can be, right?
No.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
I thought so.
You talked about soft poop.
Yeah. I know.
Or wetness in the poop. I don't
Yeah,
even know.
exactly how I said it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, man.
All right, John, you get to follow that up. Is this your first watching? Or
What? Yes, my first watching. I would have. Yeah, I did not pay the closest attention. It was hard to say like engaged with this movie for me. Because of a lot of I have to say, I agree with Eli in a lot of things. I'm not going to get into anything being any sort of like texture or feeling some sort of way.
You let me be your
But-
texture guy.
Oh, okay. I'll just refer to Eli's texture scale that he'll bring up later in the show.
Thank you.
So weird. But yeah, no, this movie is rough. It's had some cool stuff to it. The effects I thought were like over the top of fun for the most part. I mean, really gross. I mean, that end is something. Like, I don't know who this guy is that wrote this, but I mean, he was definitely like nodding his head, feeling really smart when he wrote that end. But he's the only one that got it. Because it was
Fist
written.
bump.
Right. He wrote and directed this.
Yeah.
I mean,
This was a passion project.
Oh, yeah, it was passionate.
You said he was on. I just assumed he was watching, I don't know, Haunted or The Collection or any other movie where this happens.
Yeah, well, that and also like there's the possibility that he wanted then to do a revenge movie. Like we don't know
Right.
that the next step of this was not her being a badass, like taking revenge on people
Yeah.
with her epilepsy.
Well, and that's what we're gonna have to break that down because I have a lot to say or some questions about that we'll get into in a minute for sure.
But yeah, Rose, there's so many things we could talk about.
So we're going to
Rose.
talk about Rose.
Yeah.
Rose, like I said earlier, I immediately thought of Tropic Thunder towards the end. It
Yeah,
definitely,
I mean,
Simple Jack vibes.
I've never seen it. So.
She's very annoying, but I will say, whether it's a defense or not, she is the most interesting character in the entire movie. Like, she's the one engaging force in this movie, and that's not always a great thing because she's annoying.
She is annoying.
Yes. But yeah, no, this movie taught me one thing. Don't say fuck patriarchy, because then you get tossed in a box and thrown on an island.
Oh, I thought you were going to say be friends with epileptic people because you found out that's not cool.
I never really had a problem with folks that have epilepsy.
Well, then I guess you're not going to be saving this friend.
I guess not. That's all I got, Dave. I think Eli covered it so in depthly. I don't know what else we can add to this wonderful tale and review of a movie such as the Furies.
Stick of dynamite.
Actually, that's one question. Who are the Furies?
She says that it's a magic. It's a magic thing or something, right?
Well,
Doesn't
actually,
say it.
Yeah, and this is my push up my glasses moment. The Furies were in Roman and Greek mythology. Mm-hmm. They were the three sisters of vengeance.
Yep.
Okay.
So when you name a freaking movie, The Furies, Dave comes in at least with a bunch of baggage, making presumptions that, oh yeah, they're going to get caught, something bad's going to happen to them, and then they're going to wreck the entire world.
Hey, Dave, you know what's funny? I think you and I, as much as you don't like me, I think we're very similar. Because that's literally the same thought I had, so much so. Free text. Guess what the campfire tale is about?
What?
So it's related to the movie.
Well, it's just the cooler. It's the cooler.
How did that happen?
Well, finally, we had a movie that I could be like, "Hey, this is shit," but look what they stole the name from.
What they could have done.
Yeah.
So I like John. I'd never seen this movie. I'd never heard of this movie. When Jamie put it on the list, I literally had to confirm I was watching the right movie because there's like 5 different movies with Fury or Furies or the Furies or the Fury. So I did confirm that I was watching the right one. This very much feels to me, and this is not necessarily, I don't mean this as a slight, but I think at least Jamie will understand what I'm saying. This very much feels like a Shudder exclusive. Like it's small budget, small scale, small cast kind of movie that is all about celebrating some of the things that we really love about horror. You know, the gore check and really cool creature or character design, having some good baddies. All of that is hung on some really rickety structure, though, in this movie. Which and some of the Shudder exclusives I've watched that I really enjoyed, they have that too. But I can still celebrate, and I agree completely with what Jamie said. This is a background movie. This is something, and John, you said this. You had a hard time engaging with the movie and keeping concentrated. I don't know that this movie's asking for a heavy lift on actually paying attention to it.
I don't think so.
I don't think it. I think it's even self-aware enough to know that the story is there just to get you from effect to effect. I mean, it's just to move the character into the next horrible thing that we want to put them through. So, but that's just my opinion. I do think the effects for what they are, even in 2019, they're things I hadn't seen before, like whittling a person's face off.
It's so
pretty fantastic.
It's so funny. It's just so funny.
Yeah. But that was worth the price of admission, which was $0. I mean, I have
correct.
So I mean, it was worth that.
Unless your money bags McGee over there.
Exactly.
I used credits.
Your fancy rich man credits.
Listen. Listen. First off, I had credits, and secondly, Dave, that was probably the only thing. To your point, was I will say the kills were fine. That's probably the only thing about this movie.
That's why I put it on this list.
They were redeeming quality. I mean, I don't think they were out of this world, but
but
I've seen worse.
No, yeah, but they paid out. Worse. I mean, it was worth. And again, and a point that hadn't been made yet, it wasn't even a heavy lift time wise. It's an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, it's so short.
So it just gets to what it's supposed to do. It's self-aware enough to know that we're not trying to tell an epic or build these characters that are going to have this transformative arc through the story. We just want to see some really cool axe and hammer, and we're going to split somebody's head in half with an axe. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're here to do, folks. And they do that. So I can appreciate that. I can always celebrate somebody taking that path, especially when they pay it out.
Same.
So
and they don't I mean, I'm not going to say about all of them, but the one that we keep referencing where he cuts her face off, they don't cut away either.
No.
They did that all practical, and a lot of people cut away because they can't pull it off or whatever. And I'm not saying it was perfection, but it wasn't bad.
Right.
It's not bad, so
yeah, you can tell it's an effect, but they don't care. They're going to show you the whole effect.
Yeah, they did it. They went through the effort of putting it together and doing it practically.
Mm-hmm. So. And I will say to the point that Eli made, this is a very well-worn plot. Like, this is The Most Dangerous Game, or The Hunt that came out the year before this, or Haunt, or, there's 100 different movies in this lane. It's just another one of them, which is, I guess, why I kind of got frustrated that there were some really interesting gender things they could explore, naming a movie The Furies, where women are victims of these rich asshole men who are hunting them. There's some stuff you could explore there, but it was, and I don't know if it was a limited talent, and that's not an insult. Maybe he just didn't have the ability to put together a story to hang that much on, but the structure here is so thin that it's just about getting to the effects. The tension is not consistent in it. So there's not anything that you're really building from effect to effect. There's no like roller coaster ride of emotion through this movie. 1 minute you're attacking a guy who's wearing a skin suit, and the next minute you're having to listen to Rose jabberjaw about we were friends. So there is no consistency in the emotional kind of weight of the movie, which is, again, that's a made for TV / Shudder exclusive kind of thing. It's just somebody's cutting their teeth on this. But the real thing that led me out, and I mentioned it earlier, was the title. Why is this called The Furies? You know enough to name the movie that, but you don't hang any of that on it. And literally to the point that I had to go look up, and I couldn't find anything. And I know we have Australian listeners. Maybe they could write in an email or tag me on social media and let me know. But I assumed that there must have been an Australian or Aboriginal cultural thing that referenced something called the Furies. Like, she had mentioned the magic of the Furies. Yeah,
she mentioned some kind of match. Said, "Do you believe in the Furies?" And it was like the first.
So
way it came up or something.
Well, I'll wait till you finish, Brian.
No, that's it. That was
the one thing I disagree is I don't think this is a self-aware. I think this guy thinks this was his shot for his prologue into his epic that he wanted to tell, because at the end he has his 3 Furies. He sets it up. I think there's a mix of because I was wondering if there was an Aboriginal or Aborigine culture or something, like their version of it. I couldn't find anything because it kind of divulges off the Greek Furies, but like he has them set up. You have your 3 Furies at the end of the movie. And then like he does this weird thing with disease.
Who are the 3 Furies?
The girl with missing the eye.
Yeah.
The ghost or her delusion, and Rose. Those are your 3 Furies.
But Rose is dead, isn't she?
No, she's alive at the end, and
they think she's the winner. They think she's the winner.
I thought they popped her head at the end.
It's the same ending. Also, now that we're talking about it, as Escape Room, also
right. But she doesn't. She doesn't accept the winning because she picks up the hatchet and she keeps playing the game. So you set up your 3 Furies. You also set up your weaknesses for each Fury. Epilepsy, which I still like. It's weird. He does this thing with disease, and you have like Rose, whatever's going on with her, and then the other friend's death, like she's dead, so that she has to speak through the hand thing, whether that's an illusion or delusion or whatever it is. So like he puts a lot, like, or not, he doesn't put a lot of thought, or he doesn't do it well. It almost feels like he read a Wikipedia entry on the Furies. And that's what he's trying to base this whole thing is this epic. And like, then you got this, so you have this thing with the diseases and your Furies. And then you have this thing about about the rich and how they treat people. And then to your point, like the gender stuff they run there. So like he throws a bunch of heavy shit in there, but he doesn't know, you can tell he doesn't know what he's doing, whether that be because of budget or because he felt like he had little to work with. And this is the starting off point where he could get more money to do the sequel justice and whatever. Like, to me, when I got done with this felt more like a prologue than the actual story. Like, he just used all this to set up all this stuff, and at the end clear, like, ends with this serious stuff. But like, to me, it just felt like somebody who doesn't really know what they're doing, and they're putting everything into it because this is going to be for them to tell their masterpiece. But if you can't even tell the opening right, I don't know how you expect to do a masterpiece. That's just my opinion.
Fair enough.
But to Jamie, like said, that Rose was at the end, so he sets up his three Furies. Just they're the worst Furies in the world.
I knew that the three sisters were those three characters.
Mm-hmm.
Even after she was killed, because in the Roman Greek mythology, the three sisters are unceasing, grudging, and avenging murder. Yeah. So One Eye McGee is avenging murder.
Yep.
Rose is grudging, and then the friend who hates epileptics, would be unceasing.
Nerve to be epileptic,
right?
But to your point, you're saying he set them up, but I don't know that he did. He didn't flesh them out as.
Oh, I'm not saying he did it right.
Sequel.
That's what I'm saying. Like I think it almost felt like he read a Wikipedia version of what they were. It was like, I know everything about them, and then that's kind of my point. Is he threw all this shit in, and like in his script, he has this all set up for what the actual story will be. When like I don't think he did, because like none of it. Like he threw in all these heavy elements. Like the fact too that like for their like said, like their whatever, like their weakness or like, you know, their strength or weakness all was with these, like two of them had diseases. One of them just had an asshole, or was just an asshole. Everybody has an asshole, but like it was just an asshole. But now
clarified that.
But now can only speak through like the coded hand thing. Like it like, so like through all that, like he threw a lot of heavy stuff in there, but like it's like he didn't know what to do with it. And so he clumsily put this story together or whatever it is. And then it's like, oh, well, the payoff's the next one. But like, I don't know how you can have a payoff when presumably your next one's going to be about the Furies doing the Fury thing, when like their setup was shit.
Right.
I just can't wait for the director and writer to see us post this review and get really excited about it and tag us.
I'll make them
good news is he's already sent us the screener for the second one.
Fantastic. You tell him I'll give him the same offer I gave you guys a while ago. $499.99, a 13-week course with me.
Oh,
I'll educate him.
$499. I'm sorry, that currency doesn't even work.
What, $499.99?
Oh, okay. I thought it was $499.99.
Yeah, $499.99.
Eli's got to recoup the big time money that he paid to rent this thing.
You know what? I should be like, this is a 3-month course, and he's like, well, how much will it cost me? I should be like, $399 tax and Amazon credit guy.
When I feel satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're interested in the Fury stuff, and it sounds like we might be talking about some more of that on Campfire Tales, there is a series on Netflix that has been good. Joe Ferry turned me onto it. It's called Furies, and it's a Vietnamese series about 3 women who actually do become the avenging spirits for some horrible things that happen in their lives. So that one does have a logic to it that is kind of satisfying, and I get it. Revenge stories are not for everyone, and in a lot of ways, and I know this is something that's pretty rote at this point, I understand that revenge stories are they're a masculine thing. I don't know of a nice way to put that. Guys like a good revenge story for whatever reason. We like violence. We get pretty satisfied on that kind of stuff. But this one, it was interesting, the opportunity that was there to turn that or subvert that never really paid off. Mm-hmm. Like, even to the fact that there was a beast guard for each of the beauties was kind of weird. And I needed that, those rules kind of fleshed out for me a little more.
Well, because I mean, essentially the game is for the guys, right? The girls are just bait.
Yeah.
Because theoretically there's no sorry, there are stakes because they could die, but there's no stakes to their game in that, like the guys have to keep their girl alive. Otherwise they still die with the girl. Whereas the girls don't have to do shit except survive, like bait. Like they're put in a trap and they're just there for people to eat them alive or do whatever with them. Well, the guy saves his girl, but the guy still wins. Like the girls have no stake in this besides their lives. And that's not what I'm trying to say. But like, no, but what I mean is like it seems like the guys are set up to play this game.
Right.
Well, and then they just find girls to throw in there and pair them up with. And I don't know how they pick their girls. We got no story on.
To your point, like them, like if he would have spent 2 more minutes and read some more, like using the structure of the Furies could have made this all really cool. Like that to your point, like you're right. And like that would have played into if they like, because there's even like kind of, but there's almost this supernatural element, but it's an illusion with a friend where like there's piece of an interesting thing here where if he would have actually like dove into that and to your point, like that environment is, and with the Furies, which is kind of what the Furies did, the real Furies, that could have been really cool, but he just didn't. He just like,
I guess, yeah,
played this game.
I guess my defense, because I get what I'm saying, is not really Billy. What I mean is like, I guess too, is like, it seems, and I could be wrong, it seems like the guys, even though they don't speak and we don't know what happened to them either, but like, it seems like they seem to know the rules to this game. Whereas the girls know fucking nothing. So that's why I say they're bait. Like they're just thrown into this cage and they figure out that they have to survive very quickly because they're being hunted. And they figure out that the beast, like a certain beast, will not attack a certain girl or whatever. But it seems like the guys know this right off the bat. Like they're privy to the rules. They've been handed whatever guidebook, whether they paid to do this, whether someone else put them in there, whether whatever. Like they know what's going on. The girls know shit. And the guys have from very nothing to very elaborate outfits, which we need to talk about too, because the guy wearing the skin suit, I can't, with the ass too. Like I
best character design.
Oh my God. And like, he's just like, and one of them, I don't think it's him. Because I say this all the time. I watch, especially guys, again, not another language, but another country, whereas accents, and I can't understand what anybody's saying. I have the subtitles on. And one of them is Rotface. And I don't even know if it's the one with the skin suit. Is it? I think
Rotface was the first one. He's the one who shaves off the face.
He's also on the picture of the movie, wherever you get.
Yeah, he's Kayla's beast.
Yeah. He's her beast. Okay.
I love it when he waves at her.
That's so weird.
But the skin suit guy, holy shit! Like I couldn't. Like,
his was the best design for sure.
Yeah, and then there's a guy with like a mask, like a pig, and you're like, okay.
And then Babyface.
Yeah.
And then Owlhead.
Yeah, his reminded me of Wicker Man.
A little bit, yeah.
Folk horror stuff going on there.
Yeah, I will say Midsummer vibes.
Oh, okay, yeah. I will say that Sheena's logic in killing the other girls was airtight. I mean, it's messed up, but her plan was correct. Like, I'm not going to be able to kill these guys who are bigger than me and better equipped. But if I kill y'all, I don't have to worry about the guys. There's a messed up logic to what she does. I'm glad she got her head split, but at the end of the day, her logic wasn't wrong.
No, it wasn't. Not at all.
Is this our first actual Sheila in a movie in reference to our lovely Sheila?
Someone was named Sheila?
It was Sheena.
Oh, I thought it was.
But it was Australian, which is Sheila's. So
they're all Sheilas. They're all Sheilas.
Little cultural appropriation there by Eli.
Hey, you're welcome.
Yeah. I also thought there was going to be, and again, I know I watched, and the other reason I put it on too, not to sound, was because I was not positive at all. Like, I know, especially like all of us watch a lot. I know Eli has seen like almost everything when I reference something, but like I had a feeling this wasn't something that everybody's seen. And I like when we like have a new, and since I had barely paid attention to it, it was like something that we could like, it was like a new one. Where was I going with this? Oh, I thought somewhere in this, we were going to find out like not necessarily a connection between the girls, but like why these specific, whether they're problematic, is the first two, like one's spray painting and one's, that's a very loose, but like, oh, she's bad. She's a badass.
If the Beast had a connection with them.
Like, and it's just like, there's nothing, I don't think that I like why. And one of them literally says like, why us, or why are we picked? Or so I think it's Rose or whatever. And especially when we get to Rose, I'm like, how did we pick these girls? Because
well, I just presumed it was, I thought they were going to do something with, because like in the Furies lore, like Cerebus has a soft spot for the Furies and doesn't like torture them or like lets them like do their thing or whatever. And I thought it was going to be something like that. Like maybe like the Kill the Beast chose their, so like, Rotface saw that his was like, had no problem killing people or was like fucked up, or maybe they had epilepsy together. I don't know. But like something. But like they didn't really do anything with that. And like, it's a shame because like, I would have really liked if like each killer had their own personality, but like they all kind of just were weird
no
shit and just made weird pig grunting noises.
They have zero personality.
Like, not
and why
like,
do two girls know each other? Like that to me seems weird too. Like, why'd we take two girls that are friends, and then the rest all seem to be strangers?
Well, one of them thinks they're friends. The other one thinks the other one's a loser with epilepsy. Let's be honest.
Until she's a quivering, pathetic, like human being at the end.
And even then, she's like, "Oh, you murder people to come save me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's super lame. How could you?" Like, if I've been Rose, I've been like, "Fuck her too." Like, come on. I said I'd be your friend. Like, I would have done the same thing.
She also didn't really. She accidentally murdered the one. I don't think she murdered. They keep saying girls. They kept saying, tell them about the girls you murdered. There's one that she did by accident.
Yeah.
The other one, she didn't.
If you're in that situation, if you come up and grab my shoulder,
when I'm being hunted,
sorry, that's half your fault at that point.
Yeah. Oh, and then the fact that she figured out the whole mechanic for them to live, I'd be like, you know what? I'll give you a pass on a couple murders. I give you a pass. Oh, you're the only one that looked at this fucking amusement park style map in this killer playground, which makes no fucking sense. And you think you know a way out? Hey, murder as many of you want.
Take me home.
It's like a Hunger Games dome, right? I don't know. I just assumed we were.
Well, that was a weird thing too. Presumably, only one person could get out, and they're like, "Oh, what are we gonna do? Let's just pick this amusement park. Is the map still up? Yeah, but like, no one's gonna read it. Like that kind of whole layout was kind of.
But she can't get out that way. She actually walks out the exit by taking her eye out. I mean, she doesn't. She goes to the mine and it's not there.
Well, when they go to the mine, there's still a little crawl space, but like
there's something. But like,
you never get to see it because then like Owlman shows up or something and like does owl things, and even though Miss Epilepsy's super lame, we're still gonna hide behind her because she can protect us. She's murdered some people.
I love how her seizures are just so convenient.
Oh my God.
I wanted to talk about that because
holy shit.
I've had friends and family members that have epilepsy. Mm-hmm. Is there a form of epilepsy that's just this fugue state? I've never experienced that at all.
I have no idea. I know nothing about epilepsy.
Then they do the weird thing where like her epilepsy allowed her to reverse see.
Yeah,
through the cameras in the eye.
It was short-circuiting her.
It was short-circuited, and she could see the guys, which makes no
sense whatsoever. But like and that's when I thought like, oh, this is going to be this. Like they're kind of doing this weird like ghost in a shell supernatural element to like this being the Furies, and instead they just shat it out and like
I don't know. Her epilepsy might be tapping into her robot eye that's putting her into the network of all the cameras.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I thought it was like that epilepsy, like that was her, like, because each Fury has like their thing. And, like, that was her, like, her epilepsy wasn't, it was like
weakness and strength.
Well, it was like camera hacking epilepsy.
This movie doesn't deserve this level of thought, I'll be honest.
It's super lame because, like, you go into a fugue state while you're using it. So, like, none of these other assholes will help you because they all blame you for all the good things you've done. So they're just going to let you stay in the desert. Which apparently doesn't matter because like people like when they see you in a fugue state, they're like, oh well, don't want to mess with her right now.
Hey, good on Rose for protecting her while her lady friend was down.
Hey, listen, all I'm going to say is Rose is an annoying character, and like it's also like a character I'm like, you probably should have done that a little better. But
absolutely.
Hey, you know what? She's the only one I agree with in this whole movie.
She emoted like a normal
my
person in
God,
the situation.
And then she just turns into a mega bitch. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
wow, Rose.
Yeah,
Well,
she
like-
turns a corner there.
Mhm.
What and like maybe I missed this, but like were they implying, or did they say she had some kind of like development issue?
Oh, I assumed they
That's
were
what-
implying.
it-
They were
if-
implying,
Yeah,
but
really heavy handed.
the way they said it was that she's homeschooled. She's never been. So she has,
Right.
obviously she has social awkwardness because
Right.
she says, she makes the point to say that like, I've been home. My mom won't let me go to something. There was
Right,
something
right.
my
Yeah,
mom
She
I'm
was
not
was
lying.
homeschooled, and my mom's
Yeah.
the best teacher
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
But like you
Yeah,
could tell, like she like didn't understand, and like she even makes comments about how like she doesn't understand social interaction stuff. So I'm like, oh, he's heavily implying some type of disorder or something. And
Well,
then like
I mean, they have her
just
acting. They have her
cranks it up
acting
to
much
11.
younger. Like I don't think she's.
Right.
I think she's supposed to be similar age. I'm guessing if the other ones are supposed to be high school, she's also supposed to be high school. She's dressed and she acts much younger
Right.
and much more naive.
also
until
looked
she
like
turns
she
a
was
corner
46.
and she's a fucking bitch. But
I mean, she deserves so. This whole thing's about saving this friend who, like,
True. I
once
mean,
again was
true.
like,
Yeah.
"Fuck you," up into that thing. And she's like, "I want to be your friend. I've helped you. We've helped each other."
it is true. Yeah. And like you going after this girl that couldn't give two shits, who never tried to look for you once nor cared. Just
Who was totally okay by having some weirdo in an owl mask put her in a
protect her. Like,
That's
yeah.
correct. Leave her there in the desert.
That is 100% correct. Yep. Who didn't want to be her friends any literally reason didn't want to be friends with her anymore was she had epilepsy and was lame. Like,
She's a coward, apparently.
You know,
yeah. Sorry,
Called
I'm
it like she saw
a
it.
coward because I have seizures that leave me incapacitated. You're right.
call it like she saw
That she called it something.
it.
She called it something.
So the most important question I have for a movie like this is, what was your favorite effect? You know, it sounds like we've talked around some of them, but there are more that we haven't talked about yet. So
Yeah. I'm going to go with the face one, I think. But
okay, you're going to take that one, yeah.
I'm going to take that one. Sorry.
I'm going with the
I
hand.
put it on the list. I'm taking it.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going with the hand scene because like that was such a violation of like, oh, you hacked off my fingers.
So
All right, well, I
gross.
hope you like guzzling my hand blood. And then like she's almost, and then like when he drops her, and she's like almost like Evil Dead
Yeah.
expelling. Like
Yeah.
there's more blood in her mouth than the human body can hold,
Yeah.
and she's like expelling an Evil Dead. Like,
And
I
it's
did
brown,
like that scene.
black blood.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, because they couldn't afford Red Dye number 2. Apparently, like, but like that's probably one of my favorite scenes.
It's gross. That one's gross.
Yeah. And since the best two are already taken, I got to take the third one where the arms are just ripped off via
Oh,
a
that
tree
was
web.
Good.
That was
Yeah.
that made me uncontrollably angry because it's not
Oh,
like
it's so much fun.
No,
It's
it's
so
not
funny.
like you are not meant to believe that this is like Jason Voorhees. This is some guy who makes
They're
pig
beasts,
noises.
man.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, but like not this. Of all of them, you give it to the weird little naked suit, like hillbilly. Like no, thank you.
I mean,
I
the
thought that
anguish
was
on that
funny.
actress. is
Rot face.
pretty
I've
good
been
for the
like,
moment.
okay, but the guy that has like a butthole mask
cares,
on his
man?
butthole, I'm like, nah, bro.
Hey, they made Winnie the Pooh into some sort of weirdo.
That
I mean,
was the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
I'm never going to watch
I
it.
won't.
I was as angry about it as I was Antlers. I'll just say that.
I
Fair
won't
enough.
watch it.
I can't believe you tortured yourself, but hey, we watched the
what was-
furries.
Steve, what was yours?
I was surprised and satisfied when Sheena got her head split by the axe. I mean, that was
Hey,
a
that
pretty
is
good
good.
splitting.
It's a good
Yeah,
splitting.
I mean, you can tell at the moment of the split, we're obviously moving into a digital, of course,
Yeah.
because you can't actually do that. But the seamlessness, and then when you get the payoff of seeing her on the ground with it fully split open, I thought it was a fantastic effect. And it comes at the right moment just then, right?
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
as she's realizing, oh, I don't have to defend myself against these guys. I just have to kill you two girls.
Yeah. She was probably the only average actor, I would say, in this.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? The first time I saw her, like when they first run into her right outside the box, I thought it was the same actress that was in Deathgasm. She looks very similar.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm like thinking that's funny. No, like I said, the kills was the only thing I remembered about
Yeah.
this, and I'm still fine with them all because they're
You remember the best part, clearly.
delightful. Yeah, that's
And,
all I
and
ever
the
remember.
Australian Leatherface, we have to admit, that's a pretty cool design. I mean, Mr. Skin
The skin
Cake.
suit.
Mhm.
Every time they showed his feet and he had 2 feet on each
Exactly.
side, I mean, I was just like, the first time they show it, I had to do a double take, even though I was watching, but I was just like, wait, well, I'm sorry, what did I just see? Like at first I thought he was collecting body parts and like putting them, and then I realized, oh no, he's wearing a whole
body.
suit.
He's like, if they would have made him like the grunty pig one and like him doing it, and then like gave a different personality to the other ones, like that could be really cool, because like that suit with that grunty pig stuff, like that was like, oh, okay. But like they're just so like, but like men make everybody else a little different. There's just like it's a shame, because like I've watched the that series of Furies, which is really good, but like watching this was like, man, I wish someone would make a really good like Furies based revenge film. Like this, all this did was open up a hole in me a little wider, be like, oh, this is something I didn't know that I needed, but I want. And like this was just like not it, but it made me like wish somebody would do it right, or like that kind of, because like you can tell like he used some of the lore of it a little bit, but like just not very good.
Well, I have some good news for you, Eli. And this did run under the radar, so you may not have heard of it. You probably haven't seen it, but they did make one that's actually really good. It's got Drew Barrymore and Cameron Diaz and Lucy.
You son of a bitch! Shut up! You're the worst. You are the absolute worst. That is nothing like it. You are I got real excited for a second.
Oh man!
And
for everybody that's listening on their phones or whatever, y'all got to go watch this part on the YouTube video.
I was so excited.
The look on his face
ruined it. As soon as you said Drew Barrymore, you son of a bitch, I knew. I knew.
Her.
She's a delight.
I love her.
But in all joking aside,
but anyway,
but like it did, like, because there's like, it's weird, like there's like these little like nuggets that could be really cool. I just don't think in his hands he just can't. He like the writer of this, in his hands he just can't do it. Someone else could, like, honestly, no, I say that, but now I'm going back on who that could be. But there are other directors or writers I think I would enjoy doing this a lot more than what this guy did.
Well, I've got really good news for you.
You son of a bitch. No, you don't. Stop it.
There's a movie that came out just a couple of weeks ago.
Why? I swear to God.
Brie Larson in
No, you're first off, you are the absolute worst.
Avenging
that
spirits.
is not
literal Avengers.
No, first off.
No, wait, Dave, what movie
first
is this?
Off, 2 of them are not part of the Avengers yet. So you have
Dave doesn't
yourself.
lie.
He lied there.
No, he's not lying.
He lied.
There's only one person on this podcast who has "he lied" in his name, and it's Eli. He lies.
Listen, I don't lie. I tell the truth, the real truth.
It's not what your name tells me.
Well, that's not my full name, so we're gonna do that.
Elijah.
Oh, you're the worst. That's the worst. But like, I mean, because you're, but in all kidding though, Dave, you're like a lore guy. Like that didn't tickle you a little bit because you said you watched the Furies show, right?
Yeah,
and you liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And like this didn't tickle you a little bit to see like this revenge type style movie, like with that saying, like that didn't like tickle you a little bit to want to see that.
Oh yeah, I think I opened my thoughts with that's where I was.
Yeah, that's
expecting this was going. This is where I was kind of expecting it to go.
I was offended by something you said. And I was listening.
Well, I've got some really good news for you.
You son of a bitch.
There's the exact movie that you just described. It came out a few years ago. It's got Sandra Bullock.
Oh my God, stop it. You're the worst.
They're doing this heist.
The absolute worst.
Ensemble cast.
You're the absolute worst. You're the absolute worst. Just the worst.
So I do have one last question, and it sounds like we've pretty much said our piece about it. And this is a simple movie. It has a simple review, simple plot. So, but I assume that if a beast kills all the other beasts and the beauties, then I'm correct in assuming that he turns back into a handsome prince and they fall madly in love. Is that what happens?
Yeah,
correct.
Happily ever after.
Okay.
No, but what they do hint at is that a beauty can become a beast, which is this other weird.
Wait, when?
Thing.
How?
Like
what?
They were changing her when they went to Rose's camera. They were before the screen shut off, presumably because what's her face showed up. they were changing her title in the screen.
Huh.
So, but like, it's weird. So, like, that's which makes sense for the sister she was, but at the same time, it's just like you're like doing all this like lore building.
Yeah, we didn't get any of that, so I don't understand.
turds.
Again, like I don't even know how they pick these people. I don't even understand this game.
No.
Then it's like a virtual reality. I know it's not virtual, but then he's watching it in a headset, and again, like it's like.
Well, that's what then I was confused.
Again, a million movies, but I'm just gonna go to escape room.
Right.
That's like at the top of my head, but like. Yeah, now there's people watching it who pay to watch it or develop it.
Well,
I don't know. And like,
I was like, are they playing it? Like, are they having?
They're just watching it.
Well, that's where like when they first introduced it, and then like he was talking about replays, but then when he was like, "Oh, I have a company where I make these game sets," so it's like, so then are the beast actually game? Like, are they being or are they people? But does this weird Christmas light eye thing like does that allow people to control them? Like. It's weird, like shit.
Yeah, if you try and dial in and investigate the technology or the logic, it's going to fall apart pretty quick. I mean,
literally, the eyes are just there to be cameras. Like that's literally it. And to like give them that sound or whatever to like stop them from leaving the boundary.
The head explodey stuff.
Yeah, but like the eyes are there as cameras. So I guess it's literally they're making like a kind of like a snuff film, and then they're broadcasting it.
It's a snuff VR game.
Yeah. But like you're not playing, you're only watching a movie or whatever. And then, like, but again, these guys are playing some fucking game that I don't know what they get when they win.
I don't know what
I have no clue what they fucking accomplish.
And they're violating rules for talking,
keeping their beauties alive. Like,
well, that's like it's weird. Like it's like he wrote this stuff out, and then like he's making shit up as he goes, but then he doesn't go back and like, hold on, now what did I say here at page 2? He's just like, fuck it. I'm page 19 now.
Keep it going. Keep it moving.
All right. Any other thoughts on the Furies?
Yes, I sent the letter out. When the production company, the writer, the director, an actor, I don't care who in this movie, $3.99 plus tax. So you're looking at about I think it was like $4.24 in Amazon credit. I don't want more. I don't want less. I want exactly that amount.
Okay. And for what? What is your counter offer?
I just want the credit back.
Oh, you just want the credit back.
I just want my
You're not going to do anything for
back.
him. You just want your money back.
Well, I sat through that fucking human excrement of a film. What else can I do for him?
Yeah, I think we just spent the last hour saying it was not that bad.
It's like not that bad. It's
well,
not great.
Listen,
but
hey,
it's
could
like,
you guys just go with me so I can get my $4.24 back in Amazon credit?
You're the one who could have just walked to a different television or whatever your problem was.
Literally
on my magic
upstairs.
Deck. Okay, I was making a
magic deck.
For those that play Magic the Gathering, I play Commander format. I was making a new commander. Okay,
no clue what that is.
Yeah, only cool people do. And clearly. I was like, well, hey, I got these couple dollars. Hey, you know what? If Jamie said to watch this, sure, it's great.
Wait, come on.
And then I used my credit, and I'm like, and as soon as I got 4 minutes into the film and found out that the main relationship factor between these two best friends is the one thinks the other one's lame because she has epilepsy. I was like, I'm not gonna like this.
I won't ever do that to you, Eli. Don't worry.
No, listen, I no hard feelings because you came around. You're like, wow, this was pooky. So I'm like, oh, cool. Now if you came in like this is the greatest movie I've ever been, I'd be like, man, the street's gonna be broken.
As best friends, just illnesses will never stop me.
Oh no. We've never had that conversation where you're like, hey, you're super lame because you're and I was like, wow, that doesn't make sense. And then I'm like, oh, here, let me come save you. And you're like, wait, you're saving me from all this stuff and you have a disease?
That's it. I'm adding a pre-existing condition for him to any new friendship.
No, you have to, Phil.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, I think we can all agree that this is the best movie we've ever seen, to use Eli's words.
Clearly the best.
Fantastic movie. So as you may have expected, and I did think back because to John's point, this is a movie that strains concentration, but I did go back and confirm as best I could. There are no animals in this movie. So there is no Dave's Critter Corner this week. So just going to give a few closing reminders. We'll start with the big surprise, not surprise. Eli, what are we doing on Campfire Tales following this movie?
Whoa!
I do not. Anybody that watch this, I do not want you to think the Furies are maybe in my top like 5 favorite Greek mythology things. Fucking awesome. So we're going to talk about the real Furies so you can see that this is not what they were.
And Eli, if you want to see what they were, there was this fantastic.
Don't you do it, you son of a bitch. How can you keep coming up with these movies?
A few years
Are you
ago.
looking these up as you're doing this?
It came out in 1983, and it's got a female lead who's killing a bunch of campers at Camp Airlie.
Oh my God. You're the worst. The absolute worst. Just the absolute worst. For a second, I thought you were going to do something not revengey like 9 to 5 or Still Magnolias, but okay, I'll give you
The
credit
episode's not over.
That's true.
So thank you for listening. We do hope that everybody has a great Thanksgiving, however you celebrate, or if you don't celebrate, we still hope you have a great week. We hope you get some time to yourself or with the people that you love. Subscribe, rate the show, give us a review, give us a comment. We always like to hear back, get feedback on that. If you want to give us any legit feedback or any of the cultural stuff from our Australian listeners that you want to weigh in on, we do genuinely have an interest in understanding if there's something we've missed about that in the reference to the Furies. You can send me an email at podcast, podcast at thewickedwild.com. We are going to be watching a new movie for our next review. I know it's Thanksgiving week, but we're watching that movie this week, and then our next review, which will come out in a couple of weeks after the Furies Campfire Tales, we're going to review Eli Roth's new slasher movie, which we're pretty excited about. So be looking for that coming up next. If you want to learn more about us or our hosts or the other things that we've got going on, you can go to our website at thewickedwild.com. We've got some merch over there in our shop, some t-shirts, hats, and other fun things if you're interested in that kind of stuff. And I do have, as I did last week, or at the end of Camp Wicked Wild, our free commercial for this week. This is an unpaid, unsolicited. They don't even know that I'm doing this, but something that matters to us. And this one I took for myself. The thing that I'm going to promote this week is Imminent Danger German Shepherd Rescue. And that's where I just adopted my 2 new puppers from. They are based on the East Coast, and their model is that they have networked with all of the animal shelters on the East Coast. If a German Shepherd, even if it's a German Shepherd mix, if it comes into intake in a kill shelter, they get first rights of refusal to take that dog into foster care until they can place it in a permanent home. Really great people, very passionate. When I went through the process of adopting, I adopted a 8-week-old pup and then a 1-year-old, who is a gorgeous sable German Shepherd who was wandering the streets of Memphis, which still blows my mind that somebody had just abandoned her. But when I went through that process, they were very intensive, and they interviewed all of my references. They interviewed my veterinarian. They interviewed me and my family. They took it very seriously, which was very assuring to me. And then I got to talk to the foster family and about the dogs and what their personalities were and all of that. They were very open and honest with that because they wanted to make sure it was a good fit. So Imminent Danger German Shepherd Rescue. If you want to follow them on Instagram, they're at IDGS Rescuer on both Instagram and Facebook, and you can get their website information there if you're interested. So that's all I have on that. If you do want to follow us on social media, you can do that on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at Wicked While We Are, Slasher, the horror only community, at Wicked While We Are, or Instagram at Wicked Wild Pod. If you want to see our faces, and as John mentioned earlier, if there are some expressions that you might miss, some emotional moments on the podcast if you don't watch the video. So if you want to do that, you can follow us on YouTube and you can watch the videos. Just search the Wicked Wild Podcast. Anything else? Did I miss anything?
I'm maybe a little hurt you didn't use me as a reference.
For my adoption.
Yeah.
Well, I used my mom and my best friend from high school. So does that make it any better?
I mean, no, not really.
Okay, well.
And Eli's a high school. No.
You have slated me today 19 times now.
Well,
it's
room for growth.
It's my job at this point. You know, I am
Seems like it.
I am the dad the podcast. I'll just own the old guy energy on the podcast. I've got to withhold my praise for my children so that they try harder. It hasn't worked at all. I'll put it that way.
First off,
wow.
I became a king. Started a kingdom.
King of a molehill.
And on that note, go ahead.
I'm also, I think, the leading expert in probably lore, myths, legends, mythologies, and just stuff you need to know. So, I mean, what more do you want from me?
The self-proclaimed leading expert.
That's correct.
All things lore. Fair enough.
Yeah, fair. Mm-hmm.
It's hard to argue with that position. So on that, I do want to end with a little piece of wisdom just to give you some advice, because we are an outdoorsy and wildernessy horror podcast. It may be asking too much of your mountain bike to try and make it stand on its own. They are generally too tired. Have a good night.
You are the worst.